guys, Josh here, and today I'm going to be making a tutorial of how to change your thermal paste on your processor. So basically what I have here is some isopropyl alcohol. You're going to need that. This is 99%, although anything over 70% will totally suffice. So just get rubbing alcohol above 70% and that would work out perfectly fine. So that's what the bottle looks like there. So that's to actually wipe off the thermal paste. Rubbing alcohol is very efficient for doing that. You'll also want a roll of paper towels. Some people use toilet paper, and I highly advise against that. The reason why is because when you use toilet paper, there's a bunch of, when you rip it and stuff, there's a bunch of stuff and dust and particles that come off of it, and it gets everywhere else really dusty. So I find that paper towel roll significantly reduces that. Sure, there's still some when you do it, but there's not near the extent as what toilet paper has. So use whatever you want to. Really, I would choose a roll of paper towel. And for last, we're going to need the actual thermal paste. Now, if you're doing a processor swap with the heatsink, some of them actually include thermal paste at the bottom of the processor. The bottom of the heatsink itself. Some include an actual tube of it in the box, and sometimes you need to actually go out and purchase a tube yourself, so you can get that at your local computer store. I got mine from Canada Computers, and this is the Arctic MX2 thermal compound. I actually have 2 more boxes there and a couple others in my tech kit. So I really like this stuff. It works perfectly fine. I actually had, I was using Zalman Thermal Super Grease or something, but any tube will do really. So just get your thermal paste and let's get started. So basically with AMD heatsinks, there are 2 mounting latches on it. With Intel, like what I'm going to show you here, I'm not putting the Intel on the AMD, you can't do that, but I'm just showing you for instance. With the Intel, there are 4 mounting latches, and for an Intel system, all you need to do is twist and pull upwards to take it off, and then vice versa when you're putting it back on. With AMD, however, there is typically a latch on the top of the system or bottom, and all you need to do is pull it and unlatch the piece of metal from the mounting system on the plastic there. So just unlatch that here. Do the same with the bottom, and now it is unlatched. It is completely unlatched from the system here. And you might be like, wait, why is it still on there? When you're dealing with older systems, typically, the heatsink will actually stick onto it. Like it is like, the thermal paste acts as concrete, especially lower quality ones. So that, for instance, that's exactly what's happening here. So once you remove the mounting system, make sure it's removed. You might want to give it a little wiggle to make sure that it's going to come off properly. So before you do that though, make sure to take out the fan power header here. So just wiggle that and that will come off. And see, this is already starting to come off, but what I would do is just give it a little wiggle like this and pull upwards. And there you go. Yeah, you can tell this thermal paste has been on here for a while. It's definitely caked on there. So put that aside, and what we're going to want to do now is, you can see the processor correctly, you can see the heatsink. We're going to want to get some rubbing alcohol and the paper towel. Take out a sheet of paper towel here. And fold it into 4 pieces. So 1 fold, 2 fold, 3, just do something like that so it's thick. Then put it over top like this. Just do a swig. What we're going to want to do is wrap this around your finger so it's like this. And then just go around the top of the processor here and wipe it off. I typically use a circular motion, but it's pretty much entirely up to you. Sweep outwards so you don't leave any residue on the actual processor itself. Might want to flip this over just to get over the remaining residue. And you can repeat this process twice if you want to. So you can do use a second sheet, put some more isopropyl rubbing alcohol onto it, and wipe this down again. There we go, that's looking pretty good. I would give this a second wipe, although I don't want to use all my rubbing alcohol, so it's up to you. As long as it looks like there's no more thermal paste on it, you are fine. So now we need to do the exact same process, but for the heatsink. Keep in mind this is a AMD heatsink. Intel heatsinks will have 4 latches on each of the corners on it. So let's get another paper towel roll. Fold it again into 2, 3, 4, something like that. I typically do this. Do a swig like this. Put your fingers underneath of it, then wrap the other end like that. So now it's like this. This is what I like to do, at least. You can use whatever you feel comfortable with. And then go over the top and starting with circular motions just to loosen up the thermal paste. Once it is loose enough, then start swiping off the side so you don't leave any remaining residue. You can repeat this process until all the thermal paste is removed. So a lot of thermal paste. Make sure not to get too much thermal paste on your hands, because a lot of manufacturers that make thermal paste, there's a lot of lead in it. So when you're done, don't go eating. Make sure to always wash your hands because there will be lead. I know some thermal paste manufacturers make green thermal paste, and they also make thermal paste that isn't conductive. So if you get some of the thermal paste on your motherboard, on the tracks, and the printed circuit board, it will not conduct at all. So will not short circuit itself. All right, looking good. I'm gonna throw this over there. So now we have the thermal paste off of the processor and the heatsink. Now we want to take the thermal paste to, or if it's already applied to your, if you're installing a new heatsink or something, you can just go directly and apply it there. But with this tutorial, I'm showing you how to actually put the thermal paste on. So here's the thermal paste bottle. You want to take the cap off. Sometimes the cap is actually really hard to take off because it's kind of caked on there. In this case it is. I might need to actually get one of my vice grips. Hold on a second. Alright, I am back with a pair of pliers. And let's go with the bottom. I actually have this issue a lot where you can't pull it off, especially with these smaller cap ones. So let's get the cap there, give it a little twist, you can pull it off. And there you go. Put it somewhere safe. Okay, so cap's off. What you're gonna wanna do here is with a processor, you're gonna wanna put the amount of thermal paste as the amount of a uncooked grain of rice. That's basically what I go by. So let's just get a good angle here so everybody can see. Put it in the middle as well and make just a little line going down. And that's good enough. Now there will be some still attached to it, like a little trail. Just put the rest on there, just wipe it off. Because it gets stringy. If you pull it, it can get on other components, and trying to get it off is very hard, especially if it gets into circuits or PCIe lanes. So just make sure to just wipe the rest off. Doesn't matter where you do it, just do it on there. And get the cap, put it back on, and there you have it. You have, that's actually probably a bit too much. I could have put less, but you might want to make it a bit more thinned out through the middle. But that for this instance, that's perfectly fine. Now that that's installed, or not installed, now that we put that there, we can install the heatsink again. So with the heatsink, we're going to do the same thing we did by taking it off, but in reverse. So we're going to put it on straight, exactly straight like this. The latch here requires quite a bit of force, so it's okay if you're going to use excessive force. It's hard for a reason. They want to make sure that the heatsink stays on there, because if you're traveling, moving around, they don't want this thing wobbling everywhere and falling around, hitting other components. And there you have it. That's how to swap out the thermal paste on your computer. It's a very simple process. Make sure to wash your hands after. And yeah, if you like the video, please like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Leave a comment in the comments below if you have any tips, advice, things you like, things you didn't like. Throw it in there. I read all the comments. And please subscribe if you like this content. It really helps me out, and I'm trying to grow this channel into a more professional tutorial channel. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.